In 2002, Nissan released a car that was supposed to be a spiritual reboot of a legend. The original Datsun 240Z had been gone for decades, and enthusiasts had spent years wondering if Nissan would ever build a real successor. Then the 350Z arrived, and it didn't just meet expectations, it redefined what an affordable Japanese sports car could be. A naturally aspirated V6, rear-wheel drive, a manual gearbox, and a price tag that undercut nearly everything else with a similar power-to-weight ratio. Today, over 2 decades later, clean examples are climbing in value every year, and the car has become one of the most respected analog sports cars of the 2000s. So what happened between the affordable Z-Car reboot and today's rising collector favorite? 7 levels happened. Today, I'm breaking down every version of the Nissan 350Z, from the one you can buy for $8,000 to the one that costs as much as a house. Let's get into it. Level 1. The base 350Z. This is where the purest, most affordable 350Z ownership begins. Not at a dealership anymore, these are all used cars now, found on Facebook Marketplace and used car lots. A 2003 to 2005 Nissan 350Z base trim, 3.5-liter VQ35DE V6, 287 horsepower, 6-speed manual only. Price range $8,000 to $13,000, depending on mileage and condition. Here's why this matters. The base trim strips out the traction control, the limited slip differential, and the leather, but it keeps the exact same engine and chassis as every other 350Z on this list. This is the rawest, most mechanically connected version of the car Nissan ever sold. Who buys this? The enthusiast on a tight budget who wants a genuine rear-wheel drive sports car with a manual gearbox for less than the price of a used economy sedan. The first-time sports car buyer who values simplicity over features. The purist who actually prefers the lack of electronic nannies. The honest truth about Level 1, most people who start here quickly realize they didn't need the extra features anyway. The VQ35 engine and the chassis balance are what make the 350Z special, and this trim has both in full. Level 2. The 350Z Enthusiast. $10,000 to $15,000 for a clean example. Typically 2003 to 2008, depending on year and mileage. Same 3.5-liter V6, but now with a viscous limited slip differential, traction control, cruise control, and aluminum pedals. From 2007 onward, this trim also received the updated VQ35HR engine, bumping output to 306 horsepower. Here's the part people miss. The limited slip differential is the single most important addition at this level. Without it, the base 350Z can be twitchy under hard acceleration. With it, the car finally puts its power down the way the engineers intended. Who buys this? The buyer who wants the pure driving experience of the base trim, but with just enough electronic support to make hard cornering predictable rather than sketchy. The daily driver who wants comfort features like cruise control without sacrificing the manual-only enthusiast spirit. Level 2 is the trim most 350Z owners actually recommend to first-time buyers. It keeps the raw feel of the car while fixing the one meaningful flaw of the base model. Level 3. The 350Z Touring and Grand Touring, $11,000 to $17,000, depending on trim, year, and mileage. Same VQ35 V6, but now with heated leather seats, a Bose sound system, xenon headlights, and 18-inch wheels. The Grand Touring trim, added in 2005, goes further, adding Brembo brakes and an underbody aerodynamic package borrowed from the Track model. The real story at Level 3 is that Nissan proved you didn't have to choose between comfort and performance. The Grand Touring in particular gives you genuine track-capable brakes alongside a properly comfortable daily driver interior. Who buys this? The buyer who wants to daily drive their 350Z without giving up leather seats and a real stereo. Someone cross-shopping a Ford Mustang GT or a Nissan Altima Coupe who wants something that feels genuinely special every time they get in. The person who found a clean, low-mileage example and decided the extra comfort was worth the small premium. The honest truth, the Grand Touring in good condition is arguably the best all-around used sports car value from this entire era. Brembo brakes on a sub-$17,000 car simply doesn't exist anywhere else in this market. Level 4, the 350Z Track, $10,000 to $18,000, though good condition number 2 examples can reach closer to $17,000. Same engine as the rest of the lineup, but now with standard Brembo brakes. Lightweight Rays 18-inch forged wheels, a rear spoiler, and an interior inspired by the original 240Z, including an instrument cluster that moves with the steering wheel. This trim was manual only and built specifically for buyers who wanted the sharpest handling 350Z without the NISMO price premium. It was discontinued in 2007, replaced by the NISMO trim, which makes surviving examples increasingly sought after by purists who prefer this era's simpler aesthetic. Who buys the Track trim? The driver who specifically wants the pre-2007 body style and the earlier, more mechanical feel of the VQ35DE engine. The collector who recognizes this trim's production window was shorter than most others on this list. Here's what separates Level 4 from everything below it. It's the first tier where every single component is chosen specifically for driving dynamics, not comfort or luxury. Level 5, the 350Z NISMO, $16,000 to $35,000, depending on condition, mileage, and rarity of color combination. Introduced in 2007, replacing the Track trim. Same VQ35HR 3.5-liter V6, but with a factory NISMO aerodynamics package including a chin spoiler, side skirts, an underbody diffuser, and a rear wing, alongside a stiffer chassis, sport-tuned suspension, Brembo brakes, and lightweight Rays forged wheels. Limited to a production run of roughly 1,500 units, with a red and black interior, a white-face tachometer, and a serialized NISMO plaque on the dash. Who buys the NISMO? Not the buyer chasing a badge for the parking lot. This car has done its research and understands exactly what a factory NISMO package represents. Nissan's motorsport division directly influencing suspension tuning, aerodynamics, and chassis rigidity on a production car. The honest truth? Good condition NISMO 350Zs are quickly becoming collector's items, with clean examples now regularly commanding $30 or more. Production numbers this limited, combined with a car this well regarded by enthusiasts, almost always leads to long-term appreciation. Level 6, the rare and special editions. This is where the 350Z stops being transportation and starts being culture. The 2005 35th Anniversary Edition, celebrating the original 240Z's debut with unique ultra yellow or pearl blue paint, special badging, and cast aluminum wheels. Clean, unmodified examples now command a premium over standard Track and Enthusiast trims of the same year, especially with the manual transmission and the updated 300 horsepower rev-up engine. There's also the 350Z Type E, a homologation special built in extremely limited numbers in Japan, specifically to qualify the car for Super GT racing, featuring a longer nose, extended rear overhang, and aerodynamic add-ons never sold to the general public. Numbers matching unmodified NISMO examples with documented low mileage and full service history have sold well above typical NISMO pricing, with the rarest, most pristine cars reaching $40,000 to $50,000 as more buyers recognize this generation's long-term collector potential. Who buys at Level 6? The collector who understands that unmodified originality and documented history now matter more than raw power potential. The enthusiast who's followed this car since its 2003 launch and finally has the means to own a numbered piece of its history. The investor who noticed that clean 2000s Japanese sports cars have consistently outpaced ordinary depreciation curves. Level 7, the Racing 350Z. The 350Z competed in professional motorsport almost from the moment it launched, from Super GT in Japan to the Grand Am Cup and SCCA World Challenge in the United States. The factory-backed NISMO 350Z GT500 race car, built to compete in Japan's Super GT series, is the purest expression of this car's motorsport potential, a purpose-built silhouette racer sharing only its outward shape with the road car underneath, not street legal in any form. full FIA spec roll cage, sequential racing transmission, slick tires, and an engine tuned purely for circuit racing, producing far more power than any road-going 350Z ever offered from the factory. But here's what makes Level 7 matter beyond the race car itself. The aerodynamic and chassis lessons Nissan's motorsport division learned running these programs directly influenced the NISMO road car package and continued shaping the 370Z and Z that followed. The honest verdict. Levels 1 and 2 are for the buyer who wants the purest version of the 350Z driving experience without spending much more than a used economy car. The base and Enthusiast trims deliver that better than almost anything else on the used market. Levels 3 and 4 are for the driver who wants either genuine daily comfort or genuine track-focused hardware without compromise in either direction. Level 5, the NISMO, is for the enthusiast who's done the research and wants the most track-capable factory 350Z ever built. Levels 6 and 7 are for the collector, the racer, and the people who understand that what Nissan quietly built in the early 2000s has become one of the defining Japanese sports cars of its generation. If this was useful, subscribe. See you in the next one.